We will cover many topics. Yani this is the topic outline, the chapter outline. We will identify what is personality, how personality can reflect the customer differences. We will take many theories, Freudian theories, new Freudian theories, and free theories. We will see how personality can reflect marketing messages. We will also understand what is um, uh, how marketers seek to create the brand personality, what is brand personalities, the products and services that consumers use to enhance the self-image. This is very important, and other identities online. Okay, this is simply the outline topics for our lecture. Let's start right away with what is personality. شخصية. ما هي الشخصية? What is personality? Of course, the study of personalities يعني have been searched and approached by many theorists in variety of ways. Of course, from يعني psychology perspective, from marketing perspective, from many perspectives. We said that consumer behavior is multidisciplinary field. So the personality as well has been approached by theorists in a variety of ways. Some of these theorists have emphasized the influence of early childhood, for example, on personality development. The other researchers have stressed social and environmental influences around us. كل ده بيأثر على البرسوناليتي بتاعتنا and develop who we are over time. And other theorists prefer to view personality as a unified whole. Some others focus on personality traits. We have several approaches for personality. Okay, because this wide variation of viewpoints, it's very difficult to arrive at a single definition. However, as we see here on the slide, يعني a famous definition of personality is that it is those inner psychological characteristics that both determine and reflect how a person responds to his or her environment. This is a famous definition of this of personality, and the emphasis of this definition is on what? On inner characteristics. If you can see it, the inner characteristics, the inner psychological characteristics. So this is the focus of the definition of personality here. What are those inner characteristics? The qualities of the human being, the attributes, the factors that distinguish one person from the other person. Those characteristics that we call personality are likely to influence the individual choice. They affect the way the customers respond to companies. If we have مثلا promotion, some of the customers may respond and buy, some others may respond and don't buy. When and where and how consumers consume their particular products or services. So the identification of these characteristics are associated, of course, with consumer behavior, and they are very useful in the development of the firm or any company market segmentation strategies. Okay, so this is the definition of the personality, and this is the inner characteristics, which is the emphasis of this definition. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the nature of personality. Okay, and uh, In the studies we have mentioned the study of personalities, we found, or authors find, researchers find, three distinct properties of crucial importance. They are very important, these distinct properties. And it comprise the nature of personality، طبيعة الشخصية. تمام. لقوا ان في ثلاث عوامل مهمين جدا في طبيعة الشخصية. That is, personality reflects individual differences. Personality is consistent and enduring. Personality can change. So while theorists study personalities, they found three distinct properties which are very important. Let's start with the first one. The personality reflects individual differences. Yes, of course, personality reflects individual differences. Of course, because no two people are exactly the same. Okay, so Manar is different than Sausan, and both are different from Muhammad and Yasmin. People are not the same. No two individuals are exactly alike. Okay, because of the inner characteristics that constitute the individual personality are different. So we have a combination of factors. No two individuals are alike. مفيش اتنين شبه بعض. ممكن اتنين يبقوا شبه بعض في بعض الأشياء، لكن مفيش اتنين exactly are the same. We are different. Okay, that's why when researchers studied personalities, they found that personality reflects individual differences. Yes, people are different. No two people are exactly the same. Okay, the other important factor, or some of the characteristics of personality that comprise the nature of personality is that personality is consistent. Personality is enduring, last for long time. When we say that somebody is always at tension, he is nervous all the time, that's his personality, and it tends to endure and last. Okay, it is consistent and it is also enduring. This nature of personality help companies to predict the consumer behavior over time, because when we observe customers, we observe some traits, some characteristics, and usually these characteristics are consistent. بتستمر. Okay. Uh, Mark, all the companies, they cannot change the personalities to be suitable for their products. But what they can do is to influence the customer response to get their products. يعني احنا مش هنغير الشخصية بتاعت الإنسان، لكن بنحاول إن احنا نستميله بالعديد من الأساليب والفرص. يعني. Okay. But there is an important thing here. Although individual personality may be consistent, however, consumption behavior may vary according to the psychological, sociocultural, environmental situations that affect the behavior. If you remember, we talked about the black box قبل كده في الموديل of consumer behavior. We talked about the black box, where we agreed that this black box is affected by several environmental and cultural and some economical environment as well. So it can change. So the consumer behavior can change according to some factors that affect that behavior. Okay? The third type, or the third nature of personality is, yes, personality can change. الله يعني هي persistent و consistent و enduring، ولا هي can change؟ لا، يعني هي sometimes persistent. However, some of the inner characteristics of the person can change. Okay, Why can change? Because we go through different life stages. يعني accordingly وبناء عليه the personality can change due to مثلا major life events such as marriage مثلا حد اتجوز اوكي ده major life event بقى mature وبقى عنده اولاد مثلا او كده so his behavior his consumption behavior is different now. So instead of buying a sport car, maybe he's now buying a family car. So consumer behavior change during or according to the change of personality. If you can remember yourself, مثلا, when you are 7 or 10 years old, of course your personality changed since then. Okay, ولد عنده 10 سنين مش زي ما هو والشخصية بتاعته وهو عمره 30 سنة مثلا. So we change when we grow up and we are somehow different. Okay, so this is about the nature of personality. So now we said three things that make the nature of personality. We said that personality reflects individual differences, personality is consistent and enduring, and finally, personality can change. Okay, let's go now for the theories of personality. النظريات اللي هي عملت او بحثت البيرسوناليتي. اوكي. Mainly we have three major theories of personality. Okay, of course there are more theories, but these three have been chosen because they are important to the relationship between personality and consumer behavior. So these three theories we will talk about هي اللي لها علاقة قوي بالconsumer behavior. Of course there are lots of theories examine the personality, لكن دول اللي ليهم علاقة وطيدة بالconsumer behavior وده طبعا هو محور اهتمامنا. Okay, we have these three theories: Freudian theory, New Freudian theory, and the trait theory. We will discuss these three theories in the next couple of slides. Okay, but before we go to this new topic, do you have any questions so far about what is personality, the definition of personality, and the nature of personality? Okay, very good. The theories of personality. We will start with the Freudian theory. Of course, you have heard about Sigmund Freud. Have you ever heard about Sigmund Freud? Of course, he is one of the most important and famous psychiatrists. عالم نفسي. اوكي، سيجموند فرويد كنا احنا بندرسه واحنا في المدرسه، كنا بندرس النظريات بتاعته في علم النفس. اوكي، ف he's very important psychiatrist and many theories are linked to Sigmund Freud. Okay, what about this theory, the Freudian theory about personality? Freud based his theory on the assumption that every human being has unconscious needs. المرة اللي فاتت سميناها الدرايفز وبرضه سميناها النيدز لما احنا جينا نتكلم في ماسلو والثيوريز اللي احنا اخدناها المرة اللي فاتت. اوكي، سو برضه فرويد based his theory upon this unconscious needs او الدرايفز بتاعت الhuman motivation and personality, and we took the motivation, consumer motivation last time. So according to him, a human personality consists of three systems that you can see on the slide: the ID, the superego, and the ego. This is the three systems that is based, that Freudian theory is based upon: the ID, the superego, and the ego. Okay, what are these? First of all, the ID. What is the ID? You can see of the ID like the warehouse. هنا الديفينيشن اللي قدامك على الشاشة يقول لك the warehouse of primitive drives اللي هي الويرهاوس المخزن بتاع الدرايفز البدائية بتاعت الإنسان. The basic psychological needs such as hunger, thirst, the need for air, we need for water, we need for food. So these are the psychological needs. These are the basic physiological needs اللي هي السايكولوجيكال دي النفسية، لكن الفسيولوجيكال اللي هي المتعلقة بجسم الإنسان. I always يعني pronounce it the wrong way. Physiological عكس ما هياش psychological. So we are talking about the basic physiological needs. These physiological needs, as we talked about it last time, the individual seek immediate satisfaction without concern of the specific means of satisfaction. جعان أنا عايز آكل بأي طريقة بأي وسيلة، المهم إن أنا ألاقي الأكل لأن أنا عندي البيزك need دي. تمام؟ This is the first system that Freud talked about in his theory, the ID. The second one is the superego. The superego, يعني this system in the Freud theory derived that individual need to fulfill their needs, but in a socially accepted function, in a socially accepted manner. So although I have some needs, but I need to express this need in a socially accepted manner. تبعا للمورال الأخلاق and the ethics of codes, ethical codes of conduct اللي هي بسلوكيات معينة. So the super ego role is to have some constraints. عارفين البريك بتاعت العربية؟ عارفين البريك؟ الفرامل بتاعت العربية هو the super ego is a kind of brake that controls the forces of the ID. يبقى ال ID he wants to satisfy his needs without any constraints. However, here the super ego is functioning as a kind of brakes that hold the impulsive forces of the ID. Okay, so we have the ID and we have the superego. What is the ego? The ego, according to Freud, is the individual conscious control, ضمير, اللي هو that balances the ID and the superego. احنا عندنا الاي دي متهور جدا ومندفع جدا. He wants to satisfy his needs. وعندنا السوبر ايجو very restricted يعني في constraints قيود. The conscious is the يعني the system that attempts to balance both the ID and the super ego. Okay, so it functions like an internal monitor that balance the impulsive demand of the ID and the constraints and the social culture constraints of the super ego. Okay. Many of يعني طبعا يعني many of the researchers have followed the Freud theory to study the consumer personality. Okay, and also among this personality study, Freud formed like stages. هو سماها المراحل اللي بتمر بيها البيرسوناليتي as they grow. تمام؟ هو سماهم الحقيقة on the names of some areas of the body. If you can take a look at the names of the stages, you will see names يعني with يعني that have a sexual meaning. Okay, oral, anal, phallic, latent, and genital. هو فرويد سماهم كده. He named these stages with some sexual يعني sexual meaning and sexual يعني instincts. تمام. And he thought that as the personality grows from being a child to grown up, the personality will follow these stages of development. Okay. As we said before, that many of the researchers followed the Freud theory to study the consumer behavior, and they believe that the human drives are largely unconscious, and the consumers are unaware of the true reason why they are buying what they are buying. Sometimes we go to buy and we don't know why we are buying because we are unconscious about our drives. Okay. Uh, so the researchers who adopted the Freud theory see consumer purchases and consumption situation as some reflection of their own personality. In simpler words, let me conclude this. They consider consumer appearance and position as reflection of their personality that they don't know about. Okay, when they buy clothes, when they buy jewelry, when they buy cars, when they buy furniture, this is a reflection of their personality. This is simply the Freudian theory. Okay, وزي ما قلنا some researchers applied Freud theory. Some other colleagues of Freud disagreed with the content of his theory. ما وافقوهوش الرأي وقالوا والله ان البيرسوناليتي ما هياش تبع الانستنكتس و it's not sexual in nature. لا، ده في حاجات تانية بتأثر على الشخصية. فالجماعة اللي ما عجبهمش النظرية بتاعت فرويد دي عملوا نظرية تانية اسمها نيو فروديان ثيوري. اوكي. النيو فروديان بقى على عكس فرويد كان مهتم ان البيرسوناليتي دي تبع الانر درايفز بتبقى انستنكتس يعني اللي هي الغرائز الاساسيه اللي موجوده في جسم الانسان and it's sexual in nature. So I was saying that some of the researchers agreed with Freud and some other researchers disagreed with Freud. They disagreed that the personality is primarily based on instincts and sexual in nature زي ما فرويد سماهم أسماء sexual. لكن the new Freudian بقى are concerned with not the sexual aspects about the social relationships. Okay, they are concerned about this, and they said that these relationships are formed to reduce feeling of weakness and tension. Okay, and people are classified as to how they interact with others اللي هي العلاقات الاجتماعية ما بين الناس. So the new Freudian classified people or classified the personality groups as three groups, as you can see in the slide, as compliant, aggressive, or detached. Okay? Who is the compliant? The compliant individual who is the one who desires attention. Who desire attention. So he moves toward others. And the aggressive person desires admiration. So he moves against others. Okay? And the detached person, he desired independence and desired freedom from obligation. So he moved away from others. Okay. What's interesting about this research is that these three different personality groups differ in their brand usage and how they select their products. Okay. So this is the new theory about the new Freudian or those who يعني disagree with the Freud theory. Okay, this is the second theory. The third theory is the trait theory. The trait theory. The trait theory is different than the Freudian and the new Freudian theories because the trait theory is less qualitative and more focused on the measurement of personality. The trait theory make tests to be done for every single trait in the individual or in the consumer. For example, how receptive they are to new experiences اللي احنا بنسميها innovativeness. Okay, their attachment to the possessions اللي هي الماتيرياليزم. لما الإنسان يكون مادي consumer materialism. And their likelihood to accept or reject foreign made products اللي هي الإثنوسنترزم. هناخدهم كلهم دلوقتي. We will know these three things, okay, or these three different personalities. Okay, so Freudian was talking about instincts and sexual instincts. The new Freudian was talking about social relationships. However, the trait theory is talking about certain measurements of certain traits of the personality. Okay, I don't know. Yes, maybe later we will talk about the innovativeness. Let me see. So the materialism and ethnocentrism and innovativeness. Yes, we will talk about this later in this chapter. Okay. Let's move on. Yes, innovation. Here we're talking about innovation. We all companies and all marketing practitioners who want to learn about innovators. مين هم الانوفيتورز يا جماعة؟ مين هو اللي عنده المبادرة؟ بيسموها مبادرة العميل. Who are they? Those innovators who are likely to be the first to try new products or new service or practice in the market. So these are innovators who and they are very crucial indication of the success or failure about any new product or service in the market. Okay, so the trade theory try to make distinction and differentiation between consumer innovators and non-innovators. Okay, and they make this according to several traits: innovativeness, dogmatism, social character, need for uniqueness, optimum stimulation level, sensation seeking, and variety or novel seeking اللي هم دول. Yes, Raghav, they need to be unique. Exactly. So these traits, that the trait theory stated that this is the difference between innovators and non-innovators. Consumer innovativeness, dogmatism, social character, need for uniqueness, optimum stimulation level, sensation seeking, and variety novel seekings. Those are the link between the personality and consumer behavior. Those are 7 topics we will examine in the following slides. طيب, first of all, consumer innovativeness. هنقول بقى ال7 traits دول. هنتكلم عن ال7 traits دول. طيب, let's first summarize what we have discussed so far. We discussed the definition of personality. Then we discussed or explained the nature of personality. إن هي consistent وإن هي enduring وإن هي reflecting individual differences and it can change. Okay? Then we went through the theories of personality. We talked about Freud and we talked about the new Freudian theory, and finally we talked about the theory of traits. Okay? Theory of traits عملوا بقى they are trying to differentiate between innovators and non-innovators, and they are trying to measure several traits that affect the consumer behavior. Among these 7 traits, the following. Okay, First of all, consumer innovativeness. Consumer innovativeness يعني ايه innovativeness؟ Innovativeness اللي هي willingness to try new products. The willingness to try new products. في ناس تقليديين مش بيحبوا يجربوا new products، لكن ال innovators are those customers that are very open to new ideas, and they are usually the first to purchase a new product. Okay, and companies have found this is very important when introducing new products, because the key factors of the customer likelihood to try the new product is the key success factor. يعني for example for the high tech product اللي هي فيها high technology, the innovativeness يعني can be very crucial to the success of these products. عندنا على فكرة global innovativeness, the overall innovative level of the consumer. عندي كمان the domain specific innovativeness اللي هي a particular product category، الناس اللي مهتمة ب particular product بس مش اللي هي ال overall innovative level على الكونسيومر. And finally the innovative behavior, which is the actual purchase of the new product. This is regarding the first trait, which is customer innovativeness. Okay, let's move to the dogmatism. Dogmatism. عمركم سمعتوا حد بيقول ده شخص دوجماتي؟ ده شخص دوجماتي، يعني ايه دوجماتي؟ هي الترجمة العربية او بيقولها بالعربية لان ملهاش ترجمة حرفية. يعني شخص دوجماتي يعني ايه دوجماتي؟ عمركم سمعتوا المصطلح ده؟ لا، مش ديمقراطي، لا، دوجماتي. طيب let me explain it to you. dogmatism طبعا هي شكل من اشكال الشخصيه. ايه بقى الشخص الدوجماتي ده؟ اللي هو it measures the degree of rigidity versus openness. اللي هو يبقى شخص جامد غير مرن، غير ان هو يكون شخص منفتح. اوكي، openness. So rigidity versus openness. The individual display to unfamiliar information. Okay, so the person with high dogmatic approach هو بيبقى unfamiliar with and discomfort and uncertainty regarding any unfamiliar information. At the other hand, the person who is low in dogmatism is really to consider unfamiliar or opposing belief. يعني ممكن يقدر يستوعب أفكار غير أفكاره، يقدر يستوعب آراء غير آرائه. So it is، خلينا نقول الإنسان جامد أو صلب أو غير مرن، عكس إن هو يبقى مرن ومنفتح لجميع الأرض. تمام؟ طيب الشخص المنفتح واللي هو open minded زي ما بنقول اللي هو low on dogmatism are more likely of course to prefer innovative products and يعني replace the traditional alternatives. تمام؟ طب الشخص الدوجماتي ال close minded are likely to choose what؟ are likely to choose what؟ the traditional ones, the traditional alternatives, the really established product alternatives rather than the high or untraditional alternatives. Yes. المتعصب لرأيه صح يا أحمد زي الفلاسفة وبيختار الأشياء التقليدية مظبوط زي ما أنت بتقول. أوكي، فهو ده low in dogmatism أو high in dogmatism. أوكي، غالبا هي بتتقال الكلمة دي في حضارتنا العربية لما يكون في حد غير متقبل الآراء الناس الآخرين، فيقول لك ده شخص دوجماتي، إن هو بس عنده يعني رأي واحد وما بيقبلش الآراء الأخرى فبيقولوا عليه شخص دوجماتي. بس هي أكبر من كده، هو بتريفير لي إن هو دايما بيختار الأشياء اللي ويل established، اللي هو متعود عليها التراديشنال، وما هواش open minded للحاجات الأخرى أو البدائل الأخرى. أوكي، ده بالنسبة للدوجماتيزم. اوكي. The third character or the third personality trait is known as social character. اوكي، هي جاية اساسا الاوريجين بتاعها from the social research. اوكي، which is focusing on the classification of individual into socio-cultural types بخصوص الريليشنز الاجتماعيه بتاعه الكونسيومر. اوكي، so the social character is can be ranging from inner directedness to other directedness. ما هي كل واحده كده لها قطبين، ها، يعني لها يعني نقيضين. تمام. القطب الاول مثلا في الانوفيتيفنس بنقول ايه ده انوفيتيف وده مش انوفيتيف. طب الدوجماتي في لو اندوجماتيزم اند هاي اندوجماتيزم. تمام. طب والسوشيال كاركتر عندنا inner directedness and other directedness. طيب who are the inner directed customers? Inner directed customers are those who rely on own values when they are evaluating new products. And those inner directedness are likely to be innovators على فكرة، بيعتمدوا على آرائهم هم الشخصية. على النقيض الآخر، على القطب الآخر، other directed customers tend to look to others for direction. يسأل اللي حواليه which is right and which is wrong. ها؟ So they are less likely to be customers innovators. ده السوشيال كاركترز، العلاقات او التريت السوشيال اللي بيتمتع بيها الانسان. Either inner directedness or other directedness. Okay. Also we have this trait that Ragad told us about, which is the need for uniqueness. الرغبة في التفرد. Yes, I need to be يعني nobody like me. Okay, so this unique need for uniqueness, you can see this in clothes, you can see this in hairstyles. Okay. برضو في measurement scale طبعا للنيد for uniqueness دي. تمام. في high on the scale and في low on the scale for the need of uniqueness. اوكي. قلنا كم trait لحد دلوقتي؟ قلنا الانوفيتيفنس، وقلنا الدوجماتيزم، وقلنا السوشيال كاركتر، قلنا النيد for uniqueness. Now it is the turn for optimum stimulation level. Optimum stimulation level. What is the optimum stimulation level? As you can see in the definition, that is related to know or measure how consumer tend or dislike something new or complex or unusual experience and product. Okay. دي مش زي يعني دي حاجة عكس الانوفيتيفنس. الانوفيتيفنess his willingness to buy. His willingness to buy. But this one is his willingness or how he tends to like or dislike the unusual experience or unusual product. Okay. طيب هل هم لهم علاقة؟ أيوة. الoptimum stimulation level when the individual has optimum stimulation level يعني بيبقى he has more tendency to take risk and to try new products. تمام. Similar to the person with high innovativeness. اوكي، عندهم هما الاثنين شيء مشترك، بس الانوفيتيفنس is willing to buy and the other one is liking or disliking. Okay, this is the optimum stimulation level. Okay. Number 6, I think sensation seeking. Sensation seeking. Yes, the need for varied, novel, and complex sensation and experiences. Okay, which is different and extreme. زي اللي بيعمل مثلا high building jump. This is sensation seeking. أو بيعمل parachute jump. أو this is sensation seeking. يعني taking social and physical risks for this sensation. Okay, behavior, very risky behavior. That's why it's called sensation seeking. ده برضو trait من personalities. Okay, I think the final one is the variety seeking. Yes, or variety novelty seeking. Okay, this is a trait similar to optimum simulation level. هي دي variety and novelty seeking. There are many different customers variety seeking. يعني ممكن مثلا مثلا هتلاقي consumer switching from a brand to another brand to experience new alternative. ده اللي احنا بنسميه exploratory purchase behavior. عندي كمان ال vicarious exploration. ده اللي هو securing information about a new or different alternatives and then contemplating or even daydreaming about this option. Okay, this is called vicarious. Okay, the other one is use innovativeness. Use innovativeness اللي هي consumer uses an already adopted product in a new or a novel way. Okay, these are the three types. Let me see. Yes, three types of variety novel seeking. Okay, what else? Yes, we finished now the 7 traits of personality according to the trait theory. Okay. Um, Cognitive personality factors, actually, researchers are aware that these factors influence consumer behavior. We have two cognitive personality traits, the need for recognition, and in the next slide you will find the visualizers versus verbalizers. These two personality traits have been very useful in understanding some aspects of consumer behavior. Okay, let's go for the first one, which is the need for cognition. Okay, the need for cognition معناها يعني it is the level that the consumer يعني need for cognition يعني a need for reasoning and need for understanding how they are likely to respond to certain advertisements. So when they need more, if they have high need for cognition, they tend to respond to advertisements that supply more product information. However, those with low in need for recognition, اللي هم يعني they don't need much information, they don't need much perception and understanding, they tend to be attached to the background of the advertisements مثلا, or the song, or the attractive models, or the cartoon characters in the advertisement. They don't pay attention to the information and the supply of product information. Okay, this is regarding the need for cognition. This is the first trait. The second trait is the visualizers versus verbalizers. This is the other personality cognitive factor. Here the researchers differentiate between the consumer who is visualizers. Visualizers came from the word vision. Okay, this consumer prefer visual information. تمام, visual information. He wants to see the information and the stress the visual. Okay, other one is verbalizers. Verbalizers, those consumers who prefer written or verbal information. And also this affect how people respond to advertisements. يعني مثلا visualizers اللي هم they prefer vision information. They مثلا prefer the membership of in a video club. They want to see. Okay. Verbalizers, those who prefer written or verbal information, they prefer the membership in a book club. Okay. So this is the second cognitive personality traits. After that, we come to the some traits we talked about before, and we said that we will talk about it at the end of the lecture, which is consumer materialism. Materialistic people، الناس المادية، ها مش المادية يعني الفلوس بس، لا، they people who want to acquire and own things. دي اللي بيسموها ايه الناس الماديه materialistic people. اوكي. الماتيرياليزم هي يعني to what extent the person is considered materialistic. Okay. So these people, these materialistic people are interested in the possession, التملك. Okay. And consumption, of course. Okay. So materialistic people can be found يعني many characteristics for these people. أول حاجة they especially value acquiring and showing off possession. You know, acquire and show off their possession. التباهي، التملك والتباهي بالممتلكات. Okay. They are self-centered and selfish. Those materialistic people. They seek lifestyle full of possessions. يعني مثلا they desire to have lots of things. ما هوش يعني they don't have simple things، لا، they want to have lots of things. And finally, their many possessions, they don't give them greater satisfaction. يعني they don't lead to happiness because they want more and more. So never these possessions, even if they are lots of things, they don't give them personal satisfaction. They always need for more and ask for more. Okay. These are the materialistic people. Okay. We have here somewhere between materialism and compulsion, okay, with respect to buying or possessing objects, okay. في consuming و possessing، يعني consuming الاستهلاك and the possession اللي هو الامتلاك. Okay. We have this fixated consumption behavior and compulsive consumption behavior. Like materialism, fixated consumption behavior, okay, these are normal and socially accepted behavior. What is fixated consumer? Fixated consumers, they don't keep their objects or purchase of interest a secret. They are displaying them, as we said before, they are showing them off, and they can share them with others who have the similar interests. Okay. زي مثلا الناس اللي بتتعامل مع الرير انتيكس، تمام، او اللي هي بتجمع اشياء معينه very rare. Okay. So these are the fixated consumption. Okay. They are particularly interested about certain object or a product category. اللي بيجمع لوحات، اللي بيجمع الانتيكس، اللي بيجمع عملات نادرة، تمام. So they are obsessed and they have deep interest about, or let's say passionate. زي مكتوب عندك they are passionate about a certain product category. Also, they are willing to go great lengths to secure their objects. Okay. Um, they have this dedication of considerable amount of time and money to searching out these objects and the product. كل ده لأن هي they have passionate. They have this passion about this product. اوكي طيب يبقى احنا عرفنا الماتيرياليزم وعرفنا الفيكسيتد كونسامشن، ناقص نعرف ايه هي الكومبالسيف كونسامشن. compulsive consumption is abnormal behavior. okay, the dark side of the consumption زي ما بيقولوا عليه. the dark side of the consumption, the compulsive consumption. People who have addiction towards something. compulsive يعني ايه يا جماعه؟ irrational، غير منطقي. compulsive consumption هو استهلاك غير منطقي. like people who have addiction and they are out of control towards the consumption. يعني مثلا في people are shopaholic، يعني بيشتروا كتير جدا، مدمنين شراء. تمام. في ناس مدمنين gambling، القمار. في ناس مدمنين drugs، في ناس مدمنين alcohol، في ناس مدمنين أكل. Okay, these we can say they have compulsive consumption. في ناس مدمنين شوكولاتة أو حلويات. قولوا لي انتوا مدمنين ايه يا شباب؟ عندكم compulsive consumption towards something؟ يا سلام يا أحمد. join my club يا أحمد. مدمنين بيبسي. ها؟ they have excessive. تفتكر يا محمد؟ والله يا محمد كل واحد فينا عنده حاجة دايما بيشتريها باستمرار. This is compulsive consumption. يعني ممكن ما ياكلش وما يشربش وبيشتري الحاجة دي. تمام؟ فيعني كل واحد فينا تلاقيه عنده compulsive irrational consumption towards. في واحد بيشتري السجاير، في واحد بيشتري الايس كريم زي احمد، انا بشتري البيبسي، الشوكولاته. في ناس دايما تشتري كحوليات. يا سلام يا رغد. يس كوفي. اوكي they have this ما يشوفها في اي مكان بس يشتريها، ما عندوش تحكم، ما عندوش rational about buying these products. اوكي out of control او addicted زي ما عندك في الشاشة هنا بتقول. حلو حلو، ما جميل. تمام. اوكي طيب يا جماعة، يبقى احنا كده عرفنا what is materialism, what is fixated consumption, and what is compulsive consumption. معلش انت هتلاقي شوية كده الاسامي كبيرة كده ورنانة، بس ارجو ان انت يعني ايه تفهمها، يعني معلومات جديدة يعني. اوكي compulsive consumption. اوكي طيب نيجي بقى على معلومة جديدة كمان. ethnocentrism and cosmopolitanism. consumer ethnocentrism and cosmopolitanism. اتنين عكس بعض، حاجتين عكس بعض. هي ايه الاثنوسنتريزم؟ ethnocentrism. الكونسيومرز اللي عندهم ethnocentrism. ethnocentric consumers موجودة عندك اهو على الشاشة. ethnocentric consumers feel it's wrong to purchase foreign made products because of the impact on the economy. So if they feel this is inappropriate or a wrong behavior to purchase products made outside the country because the resulting of the economic impact on the domestic economy. لكن non ethnocentric consumers عادي، يعني they evaluate the foreign made products and يعني they may buy it. Okay, so they have no problem with buying foreign products. Okay. So those people who have ethnocentric consumers, they are more likely to buy local products. والناس اللي عندها low score in ethnocentrism ممكن يشتروا اللي هي ايه الحاجات المستوردة والمعمولة في بلاد أخرى. اوكي. طيب، الكوزموبوليتانيزم اللي هي the opposite of ethnocentrism، اللي هي the opposite بقى، ان هي عادي this like in a place or a country with multicultural, they have this they consider no problem to buy products from other cultures or from other countries اللي هي الكوزموبوليتان consumers اللي هي عكس الاثنوسنتريك consumers. الشاشة بيضاء. حد غيرك مش شايف الشاشة يا محمد؟ شايفين الشاشة يا شباب ولا ظبط؟ اوكي. طيب. Let's move to the final topic of our lecture today, which is brand personality. Brand personality. Personality كمان بقى ليها brand. Yes. Personality now can be tied to many successful brands. Yes. Personality. تلاقي البراند لها شخصية. Brand personality. When you have the brand with personality, this is strengthen the brand itself and lead to more behavioral favorable attitude and preferences. تمام؟ يعني for example, if you find الفريشنس بتاعت Subway, this is the brand personality. Eat fresh. تمام. البرفورمانس بتاعت البي ام دبليو. اوكي. السيفتي اوف فولفو. the brand of the athlete in all of us بتاعت نايك. Okay, so these brands have their own personality. Companies trying to do some personalities to their brand بيخلي لها شخصية، يخلي البراند بتاعه له شخصية. تمام؟ لا ده مش بس له شخصية، ده بيحاول يعمل له personification. تخيل personification، يحاول يعملوا في شخص human. They are trying to humanize their products اللي بنسميها عارفين اللي هو الانثروبولوجي اللي هو بتاع الانسان، علم دراسة الانسان anthropology دي بيسموها anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism. They are trying to put human characteristics to objects. Okay, شباب. So this is brand personification and brand anthropomorphism. trying to put human characteristics to objects. Okay, and the brand personification, that when marketeers try to humanize these products. تمام. اسهل مثال هقوله لكم المثال بتاع الM&Ms. M&Ms, they are putting human attributes or life attributes to the chocolate. Okay, M&Ms. Okay, so they have personality. They are trying to have personification. Personification جاي من كلمة person. اوكي، فبيخلوا البرودكتس كأنها بتتحرك وبتتكلم زي الإنسان. This is what it means by brand personification. Okay, this is the brand personality framework. In this figure, as you can see, this framework that reflects the extensive consumer research that try to explain the structure and the nature of personality. Okay, this framework, البراند personality ده framework identify 5 dimensions of brand personality. As you can see here: sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and ruggedness, and other 15 facets of personality that flow from these 5 dimensions. اللي انتوا شايفينها دي: down to earth, honest, wholesome, cheerful, daring, spirited, imaginative, up to date, reliable, intelligent, successful, upper class, charming, outdoorsy, and tough. Okay, so these are personality dimensions and facets. Okay, in this framework, they're trying to put all brand personalities in one frame. ده بنسميه البراند personality framework. Okay, we have several things about putting brand personality. That is, we have, or sometimes we have the brands connected with gender. We have sometimes the brand connected with geography, and we have also brand connected with color. So sometimes the brand is connected to gender. تمام، assigning a gender to product personality. ان هو مثلا يقول لك ايه مستر كوفي، اهو راجل، يبقى ايه مش ست، يبقى في هنا ايه brand personality regarding to a gender, a specific gender. تمام. او مثلا sometimes they perceive مثلا التوثبيست والكوفي as male, and for example the soap and the shampoo as female. Okay, so sometimes the personality of the product is connected with gender. Okay, sometimes it is connected to geography زي الفرنش واين وزي التركيش كوفي وزي الامريكان اسبريسو وزي ايه تاني، قولوا ايه تاني in terms of geography. Sometimes the personification of some products are related to geography. قولوا حاجة تانية: القهوة التركي، الشاي السيلاني، what else؟ وعلى فكرة مش لازم تكون من المنشأ، يعني فيلادلفيا كريم تشيز مثلا مش من فيلادلفيا ولا حاجة يعني. اوكي، بس بيتقال ساعات عليها كده. Okay, so these brand personality are related to geography. Also sometimes they are related to colors. يعني مثلا الكوكا كولا are associated with red, with the color red. يعني كده بتعمل excitement. تمام. لو لون اسود مثلا يبقى related to sophistication. حتى في الفاست فود restaurants they have or they use a combination of bright colors. ماكدونالدز مثلا عامل الاصفر والاحمر والبلو، تمام، حتى في الانتيريور ديزاين عشان يعني to be associated with the fast service, the excitement, and the inexpensive food. So sometimes the product personality is associated with gender, geography, and color. Yes, Ragat. ايوه رغد، لان هي لونها كده. لا انا قصدي ان ساعات بنعمل personification for the brand or personality for the brand مش عشان هي لونها كده، لا we are trying. يعني ليه الكوكاكولا are associated with red slogan excitement كده ها ماكدونالدز اصفر واحمر والوان كده برايت، تمام. طيب these are some of the personality product personality issues. اوكي خلاص، فاضل لنا حاجة بسيطة عشان احنا عندنا كمان شوية الكويز. اوكي self and self image. Self image, our self image, we have a self image of ourselves, perception of ourselves. And this is يعني very closely associated with that our tendency to buy products and services which is related to our images and our personality. صح؟ يعني حتى في طريقة اللبس اللي بنلبسه، طريقة يعني السيارة اللي بنستخدمها، this is reflecting our self image. اوكي لان هي متعلقه بالبرسوناليتي بتاعتنا، how we see ourselves. اوكي بس خد بالك ان sometimes it's not a single self image. يعني individual thought that they have a single self image، لكن we are not، يعني we have multiple selves by the way. يعني تخيل كده ان انا اما اروح الشغل، اما اجي الكليه واجي ادرس المحاضرات، تمام، يعني how I would react. and تخيل برضو هو نفسي انا وانا رايحه party or when I go to a graduation or when I go to supermarket or when I go to the beach. It's not only about what I يعني what dress or what clothes I'm wearing. لا, how I behave. So we have multiple self-image about ourselves. يعني people are likely to behave in different ways with مثلا واحد they behave with his parents differently than he behaves at school, differently at work, differently with friends at a club or a nightclub. This is different. تمام. So we display different personalities about ourselves. That's why we don't have one self, but we have multiple selves. مظبوط؟ أو different selves. طيب عندنا حاجة اسمها makeup of self image, because the image of ourself develop. يعني our self image is different from time to time. So consumer here tend to purchase the product that match their self image or personality برضو over time. تمام. They are not the same over time, so they select the product that are congruent with this image. تمام. Here are some of the self images, different self images. Okay, we have actual self image, ideal social, expected, and out to self. ought to self. طيب self image أو actual self image بسيطة جدا. This is how consumers see themselves. بسيطة اهي. طيب ideal self image خليني اقول بالانجليزي وبعدين اترجم لك بالعربي لان الفروق هنا ممكن انت ما تحسهاش قوي بالانجليزي. actual self image انا شايف نفسي ازاي. ideal self image how I would like to see myself انا عايز ابقى ازاي. انا عايز اشوف نفسي ازاي. social self image how consumer feel others sees them الناس شايفيني ازاي. ideal self image how consumer would like others to see me انا عايز الناس تشوفني ازاي. يبقى actual وايديال وسوشيال وايديال سوشيال. واحده فيهم انا شايف نفسي ازاي وعايز اشوف نفسي ازاي. سوشيال سيلف ايمج الناس شايفاني ازاي. ايديال سوشيال سيلف ايمج انا عايز الناس تشوفني ازاي. طيب what about expected self image. expected self image what is expected self image. future oriented. This is future oriented. How consumer expect to see themselves in the future. يعني أنا متوقع نفسي أبقى إيه in the future. أوكي؟ طيب ought to self ought to self أنا عايز أخلي نفسي إزاي. We want to believe that we have this traits to possess. أوكي؟ يعني أنا عايز أخلي إزاي. زي كده ما بين الاكتوال والايديال. في الفيوتشر انا هبقى ايه او انا عايز ابقى ايه. This is the different self images. Okay. Extended self actually symbolically bestowing feelings and endowing with magical powers. This is, I think, this is easy to read by yourself because we are running out of time. Only 5 minutes to the quiz. Okay, altering self-image and virtual self-image, altering self-image. Yes, and virtual personality. Sometimes we go online to have different self. عاملين كده كاركتر بيسموها ايه؟ ابني بيسميها تبقى على البلاي ستيشن والموبايل زي identity for yourself. اسمها ايه يا شباب؟ ايموجي؟ لا مش ايموجي. كاركتر افاتار. بيسميها افاتار صح؟ ولا كنتوا هتكتبوا حاجة تانية؟ افاتار. This is virtual personality. بشكل اللي انا عايزه يعني. This is adaptive. اقدر اعمل الايموجي او الافاتار اللي انا عايزه for myself. This is virtual person.